Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. I want to make a few additional New Year's resolutions for 2025 based on what has been happening over the last couple of weeks. As you guys know, last couple of weeks, I made a good friend and I came to realize a couple more things about life that I may have understood in the abstract, but seeing it play out was a very, 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 very different story. I learned the hard way that no matter how well you're doing, right? So I was getting good rock star reviews with from my students. I teach at a community college, and I was healthy and otherwise doing very well. No matter how well you're doing, the average person, practically everybody, I want to say, is skating on a very thin layer of ice. And underneath that ice is some really strong corrosive acid, right? Aqua regia, and there might even be toxic metals dissolved in that aqua. It might be a solution of lead, mercury, thallium in that, maybe even polonium 210 in the aqua regia. And I don't know if all those things will dissolve. If there's any chemists watching, you can correct me. But the average American is just skating on this thin layer of ice that's separating themselves from all sorts of poison and acids. And you get anything wrong, right? Catch a COVID 19, have a heartbreak, um, have a mental meltdown. That's it. Society throws you out. So, for example, I got COVID 19 and I live alone, so I have to go out to get my favorite comfort foods. And keep in mind, I'm dehydrated, I'm disoriented, it's hot outside, it was 120 degrees. And I already talked about this. The store security gave me a very hard time about it. And so you get into a heartbreak situation, you have difficulty driving to work, you get very little sympathy. You get into a heartbreak situation, and I live with roommates. You start to leave a mess because your heart is broken, and you don't get a whole lot of sympathy. I almost got kicked out of this place a couple of times over that. And actually, in order to show that that was the situation, I actually brought my girlfriend over, and I was doing really well, so that my landlord could actually digest what had happened last month. So to kind of re-apologize, right, and to show by example that really was what was going on, right. And I want to fortify my position so I can be a little bit more removed, so I can thicken the ice a little bit between me and the corrosive acid, right. So maybe I learned from that experience with the store security harassing me. Now, when I go to the store and I don't have COVID 19, I'm feeling well, I've learned to dress up well and talk to the security guard. Hey, how's your holiday season going? Right? Um, and make conversation, make eye contact with them, right? And I've learned that at work to also make contact with the janitors, the campus security, even if it's just to say hello, right? And it really came in handy because where I now live, we have a lot of police officers who work private security in the stores as well, and I make sure to say hello to them. And one day I get pulled over by one of those police officers, and he could have written me a pretty heavy ticket, and he didn't. He recognized me from one of the stores that I was shot. So it's already paid off, right? And so thicken the divide between me and the being thrown out of society is going to be a big one for me. The other thing I noticed is that when I brought my girlfriend to various events, yesterday I brought her to a meetup that I've been having difficulty with. I feel I got a lot more respect out of that group. And it's a huge bittersweet situation for me because yes, I like the respect, but it makes me upset about how I was treated just 2 months earlier, and it also makes me feel for other people who haven't gotten here yet, right? And I'm gonna have to continue advocating for that. I don't know how I will advocate now, though. That's the tricky part, right? The time to advocate was 2 months ago when I didn't know the difference, right? Now I'm doing very well with my art career. One thing that my art career has not done for me is that, there's a saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I kind of disagree with that because there's only 24 hours in the day. I'd much rather have more time to, among other things, get better sleep, get more exercise, and now to spend more time with my girlfriend. And unfortunately, the art doesn't buy me any of that, right? So I'll need to think about some ways to generate some passive income over the next year, right? Think hard about that. Uh, all right, please continue to pray for me by. This is the Peter Like Show because I'm optimistic about hitting all these goals, but please pray for me by disliking this video. This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.